Hey friendoids, Ash here with Gents. Hope that you're doing well. A little while back, I asked you guys, what is a designer fragrance that's niche quality? Yeah, we're bringing it back. We're bringing back niche quality. It's a thing again. A lot of you out there rolling your eyes just like, it's not a thing. Stop making it a thing. But yeah, I asked you guys on the community tab of my YouTube channel, what's a designer fragrance that you think is niche quality? And by that, I mean a fragrance that if it were released by a niche house, you wouldn't second guess it. You'd be like, oh yeah, this makes sense. This is niche. I'd pay extra for this. And you guys answered in a big way. Hundreds of comments, thousands of votes. And right here, I've got 10 of the fragrances that you guys said overwhelmingly are niche quality and yet designers. So let's jump into it. Let's check these out, your choices. And while these are designer fragrances that are niche quality or whatever, they're technically not niche. But you know what is niche? The fragrance is being sold at luckyscent.com. Yeah, that's right. Use the code 10GENTS, 10GENTS. That'll save you 10% off your order. Or if you go to twistedlily.com or maxaroma.com, the code is GENTS10. Switched it up on you, but that's also 10% off. Those three websites mainly sell niche. That's why I said that. It makes sense. So here we go. I'm going to be reading a comment for each one of these, but there were multiple comments left for each one of these fragrances. Sorry, I can't read each comment from each one of these. Then the video would be like 30 minutes long. All right, first up from Gavin Diamond, Terre for me. Top drawer and classy. Also very divisive, which a lot of niche fragrances are. I like that. I like throwing that in there that, you know, it's divisive. Some people love it, some people hate it. I mean, that's pretty much niche, right? And even though at face value, you might read that and go, I don't know about that. But the more you think about it, the more it makes sense. Because a lot of the designer fragrances that people will say, hey, this is niche quality, they do have a divisiveness to them. Like Gucci Guilty Absolute, definitely divisive. Moschino Toy Boy, same thing. So it makes sense what you said. And I'm not going to argue with you here. Terre d'Hermes, fantastic choice, very classy, as you said, and one of the best fragrances Hermes has ever done. Of course, we're going with the eau de toilette here because when you just say Terre d'Hermes, that's what I'm assuming you mean, not one of the flankers that came after it. This stuff you can wear just about anywhere, I feel. Versatility is fantastic. It does have that flintiness to it, that bit of an earthy orange that does turn some people away, but I think it's just an amazing scent. Up next from Balaz, hopefully I said that correctly, Dior Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit wasn't released almost 40 years ago. Oh no, suddenly gray hair shoot out all over the place and grow a big long Gandalf beard. Anyway, had it not been released 40 years ago and it was a brand new fragrance, it's so unique from everything, it could be niche. Also, Narciso Rodriguez for Homme totally smells like the dry down of some niche fragrances. Can't think of them right now, but it's very close. Plus, it's a unique scent with that wet pavement smell. So we're just going to go with Fahrenheit from this one because Narciso Rodriguez for Homme is discontinued and hard to find, but I don't disagree with that either. And yes, a lot of people have compared that to the smell of petrichor or the smell after rain, and I don't disagree with that. It's a really nice fragrance. It's a bummer. It's hard to find now. Dior Fahrenheit Eau de Toilette, though, had this never existed, let's pretend this is not in this realm. You know, it's not there. None of the flankers are there. If it came out today, as you said, and it had never existed, absolutely. I feel like if it were released as a niche release, nobody would second guess it. With that kind of petrol gasoline smell that it has with the violet mixing with leather, people would be blown away for better or for worse. For me, I've always loved Fahrenheit. I think this stuff is awesome. First time I smelled it, I 100,000% got that petrol gasoline vibe, and I actually liked it a lot. Now, I'm not the type of guy that's going to huff gasoline, but I'm also not going to lie. And at times when I've been at a gas station and it has kind of that gas smell, I'm like, I mean, it smells pretty good. I'm not going to blow my brain cells away by sniffing it, but it could be worse. Next up, Eddie S. Lalique has a few, actually. Yeah, you're not lying. The Ambré Noir line is an obvious choice, but my pick is L'Insoumis. To me, it's in the Terre d'Hermes, Cidrapoise DNA family, and the quality is great. So this one was a little surprising because I had a lot of upvotes, and I wasn't for sure if the upvotes were for the mention of Ambré Noir or the fact that you said Ambré Noir could be but I'm going with L'Insoumis. So I'm just going to go with this one because that's the one that you said you'd go with, and it had a lot of upvotes. Now, Ambré Noir, to be fair, was listed a bunch of times on here, on that community post, rather. So I'm going to give some love to Ambré Noir as well. I'm not going to feature it officially, I guess, but Ambré Noir was mentioned a bunch, and it makes sense, of course. So L'Insoumis is aromatic. It's fresh. It has this bit of boozy sweetness to it. It's got a sparkle as well. It's very affordable from discounters. Presentation looks great. Love the bottle. The atomizer on this is very nice as well. And I think L'Insoumis is actually decently unique, especially when you consider the price point and the fact that, for me anyway, I don't own anything, and I own thousands of bottles that smells exactly like it. So it's a really nice scent. Next up, a fragrance from Professor X. Really good to see him commenting. And in case you're unaware, Professor X, long time YouTube fragrance guy, been all over the place. My vote goes for Bogart Pour Homme by Jacques Bogart. The blend of lavender and vanilla is something else. And this one I was really surprised to see because this is very affordable. You can get it from discounters, I think $16, $17, $18. Really, really cheap. It doesn't get a massive amount of love, but it's still really, really good. Well, I should take that back or reword that. I don't mean that people hate on it. I just mean it doesn't get talked about a lot when I say that. And actually, it has a really nice kind of tobacco feel to it, tobacco leaf. It gets compared sometimes to Xerjoff Naxos, and to a lesser extent, Pure Havane from Terry Mugler. So this one, in a way, you could think of as like the extremely affordable alternative to those style of fragrances. And it is actually a much higher quality fragrance than you would expect for the price, as you rightly point out. Next up, we got Fabi, and he gave us two. So I'll show both of those here. Mustache Eau de Parfum and Chopard Oud Miyake. Look at these two. They look like they're buddies. You know, they're like dressed up for a night on the town, and they kind of wore the same stuff, at least in terms of coloration going on. He says these are both easily niche level fragrances, and yeah, no argument. Both of these have some things in common in the sense of the type of fragrance that they are. Both very warm, rich, sweet, inviting fragrances that do smell higher quality than you might expect. Of the two, Mustache Eau de Parfum is going to be the most hyped. This one, really well known as being an alternative to Yves Saint Laurent's Tuxedo. And it is. It's a really nice alternative to that scent, but it also stands alone as a fantastic fragrance in its own right. Chopard I talk about off and on the channel. And every time I talk about the quality of these fragrances is really, really high. So if you've never smelled anything from the house, you should probably put them on your short list. You know, take a look and see at what fragrances they have, see which one maybe would appeal to you most based off the notes. Try it out. So these two, again, don't disagree. Really good stuff. Aaron Trill is up next. Tom Ford Black Orchid is his choice. Such a uniquely rich scent. Blew me away when I first smelled it. And once again, in complete agreement with you here, Black Orchid is one of those fragrances that's like a Hall of Fame fragrance. You know, it's going to be something 10, 20 years from now. People are still going to go, oh yeah, Black Orchid. Yeah, that stuff still rocks. It's marketed toward women, but lots of guys will wear this. And it does have a unisex lean to it. I don't think it's just straight up a women's fragrance at all. It is dark, mysterious, rich, a little bit earthy, of course, floral. Fantastic release. And then Black Orchid Parfum. Also really, really good. Really, really expensive, but it's Tom Ford, so you already knew that going in. Up next, Sir Siage Sniffington. Once again, Sir Siage Sniffington, what a name. Gotta love it. Dior Homme Parfum, without a doubt. I don't think there's any question there. So the last time that Sir Siage Sniffington left a comment on one of these, it was a really, really, really long one. And this time, just short and sweet and to the point. And as I showed love to Ambré Noir, I got to show some love to Dior Homme Intense. That one was mentioned a bunch as well. But when it came to just straight up designers that smell niche, Dior Homme Parfum got a little more love this time around, which is why it's in this list. But Dior Homme Intense was mentioned a lot as well. So this has that iris, that ambrette that smells just heavenly, amazing in Dior Homme Intense, but it ramps things up. You get leather in here, rose, sandalwood. So everything basically gets dialed up to 11. It's richer, it's more powerful, it's denser, it has more going on than Dior Homme Intense. It's also really freaking expensive and difficult to find in the US. So that's the unfortunate part about Dior Homme Parfum. That is, for me, really the only drawback. I mean, you just have trouble finding it. Outside of that, I love it. Up next, Enrique F. I'll put Noir Ambré by Issey Miyake toe-to-toe, nose-to-nose, versus just about anything out there. Keep up the great work, well on your way to being the GOAT in this game. I don't know about that, but thank you. I appreciate that. And Noir Ambré, it got mentioned a bunch of times, and actually some people were saying, you know, the first thing that pops into my mind is Noir Ambré, but it's a pain because you can't find this stuff. So to an extent, you know, same issue here as you're gonna have with Dior Homme Parfum. But lately, Noir Ambré has been a little bit easier to find, thankfully. And this is something that I've harped on, other people have harped on. Issey Miyake makes some of the best cool weather fragrances of like any design house out there. They're just fantastic a lot of times. They absolutely crush it. And it blows me away. Pulse of the Night. Ah, man, I am in love with that fragrance, and that has been impossible to find since it came out. This one, Noir Ambré, or Encens, that one, very good. Noir Argent, the new Bois Arctique is pretty good as well. I mean, they've got some stunners, like absolute stunners. And without fail, they are always difficult to find. Issey Miyake, Noir Ambré, fantastic. Up next, we got Android 95203. Stronger with you, absolutely. It's worth way more than what it goes for on discounters and even retail. I don't know why it still surprises me, but it does. It like Stronger with you, absolutely. Acqua di Gio Profumo. Those pop up. One of those pops up in almost everything I ask you guys about. And I'm not here to disagree. Stronger with you, absolutely. I love it. It's my favorite one from the Stronger with you line. I love the tweaks that they did, that little bit of booziness in there, fantastic. The performance, just right. It's, for me, the Goldilocks, at which I've said this a number of times about different fragrances, like Eros Eau de Parfum being the Goldilocks fragrance in Eros, but Stronger with you absolutely is like that for me, for the Stronger with you line. It has everything that Stronger with you does well, only refined to the point where I'd smell it and I go, well, I'm not sure how you're gonna improve on that too much. That's gonna be rough. Like how do you do that? We'll see if they can do that. But for right now, Stronger with you, absolutely. For fall and winter time, one of the best designers out there, period. And funny thing as well, some people were commenting underneath this one saying like, dude, don't say that we would buy it at retail. Like, stop it. We want to keep the price as low as we can. Like, we know it's expensive now, but we don't want it to be more expensive. There were multiple people saying that. I thought was funny. And we are at the final one. It's from George Bryan. It's Versace Oud Noir. Crazy cheap too for a true quality fragrance. I actually said truly quality fragrance, my bad. And this one was another surprise. It was one of those ones where I was just not expecting this at all. It wasn't even on my radar. But I don't disagree, because Versace Oud Noir has been a fragrance that I've worn countless times over the years. I don't want to blab on about this because I blab on about it all the time when I bring up Oud Noir, but this one is special for me because I got this right around the time I was thinking about doing my channel, like starting one up. I had been, reading forum posts for a long time, collecting things for a long time, watching YouTube videos, all that good stuff. And I knew this came out, but I couldn't find it anywhere. I was really intrigued by it, really interested by it. So I ordered carded samples off eBay. I got those in, sprayed them on, and man, I just fell for this right away. And I love the look of the bottle, the gradient, the gold, everything. I thought it looked really nice, very classy. So I splurged and I bought it full retail and never regretted it. Always have. Really, really like this. Gets some comparisons to Oud Wood and the Tom Ford's Oud Wood, of course. And when you first spray it on, you can tell that similarity. The spiciness, that little bit of sweetness, that woodiness is similar to Oud Wood. They do diverge as they dry down, but I don't think that it's a bad alternative to Oud Wood. You could pick this up on the cheap, and even though they're not exactly the same, they're definitely the same style. And there are a lot of times, believe it or not, where I might actually prefer to wear the Versace. So that one, that's special to me. So George Bryan, I like your choice, and I like everybody that was giving that the thumbs up. Now, let me give you just a few other ones that got a lot of love, but were not quite in this list. But they did get a bunch of love, a bunch of mentions. We got Sauvage Elixir. which to be fair, that one got enough votes that it could have been in here, but Sauvage Elixir always gets so many votes. I was like, oh, not this time Sauvage Elixir, but I got to mention it. Then Jazz Club by Maison Martin Margiela. That one got a bunch of love, bunch of mentions. And I would say that Jazz Club consistently from that house is the one that gets mentioned the most by people as being their favorite. So I would say just based off of that you guys think Jazz Club is definitely the best thing they've ever done because it gets mentioned probably 25 times more than anything else that house has ever put out. Then Bentley for Men and Bentley for Men Intense, both of those got a lot of mentions and that makes sense. Prada L'Homme Intense, that one got mentioned a bunch and that's a bummer. Prada, what are you doing? Give me some more Prada L'Homme Intense, please, Prada. Not me, but like all of us, like, you know, like actually put it out there for sale is what I mean. And then Reserve Privé, Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé. That one got mentioned a bunch as well. So I wanted to make sure that those got their proper due because they also got a good amount of love. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. Those are your choices for the best designer fragrances that are niche quality. Right now on the community tab of the YouTube channel, I'm running some tournaments. So feel free to go on there and cast your votes and see who wins. And I'll cover that in a future video. Right now, as of when I'm filming this, the tournament is best blue fragrances that are not one of the big three. But by the time this goes live, it might be something different. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.